Hi, I'm Mark from L&M Small Engine. Today we're working on it's called a SmithCo, SMITHCO. It's a machine that cleans out sand traps on a golf course, I guess. Has a bunch of rakes on the back. And looks like some kind of a plow and stuff on the front. But they want to get it running. They had someone try looking at it, and the throttle things broke out of the fiberglass. Probably do some carburetor work to it so it starts up for them right away. So hope you guys enjoy the video. Here's the back end of it. It has a bunch of rakes on it with the motors right under the seat here. It's like a horizontal 2-cylinder. Looks like a Kohler to me. Yeah, it's a Kohler Triad 16 horse, TRIAD. But over here, this is where the throttle cable is supposed to be. It's all broke out, and they got a throttle on the side here, which is all broke out already too. So let's go ahead and take that off. The cable's way too long. We'll get this throttle cable replaced. And we'll try to start and we'll go from there, but this is all broke out too. I'm probably gonna put a back in here and put the screw holes down on this side here, and I might put a metal plate on there too for more strength. Let me go get a throttle cable. Make sure I have an air filter for this. That's in bad shape too. Okay, I found the throttle cable. That might work. We're gonna have to cut it down a little bit. Make sure it don't get tangled up in no wires. Yeah, I made that a little bit wider. Yeah, much better like that. Yeah, I'll get that bolt started. We'll do the other side. I drilled out a quarter inch, use a 1/4 inch bolt. And the bottom, I'm gonna use a flat washer and a lock washer. So I'm gonna take this thing loose, it looks like. So you can get in there. Okay, I got that cable around here, but we gotta cut about 1 foot off of it. And it goes to this here. And I got this little Z. It's made out of a pair of vice grips. So I put the ends on. All right, let's start up and see what happens here. You go grab that new air filter. Well, I got some bad news here. I checked the oil in this thing here. Then there's gas in the oil. I don't know if you can see it, but there's aluminum flakes all over the oil too. Well, that's not good. And watch this. I'll spray some carbon to get started. And on each side, the intake valve on each side ain't shutting all the way because it's shooting exhaust back out through here. And the motor's just rocking like a son of a gun. I'll show you here. Hear the exhaust coming out the carburetor there? I wish this thing had an hour meter out. I'll be kind of curious to see how many hours are on this. So, for right now, I don't know what to do because I got to call the golf course tomorrow and see if they want to spend the money on either rebuilding this or buying a new motor, or they're just going to buy a new sand trap cleaner. So I guess there might be a part two to this video, or this might be the end. And it was kind of depressing because they told me that it ran the last time they had it running, and there's no way in heck this thing ran last time they had it running. Just gas in the oil, just an engine's worst nightmare. I've seen it on plenty of riders and stuff. So, anyways, appreciate you watching. Okay, push this sand trap cleaner for a golf course back in the shop today. I started filming this video last fall because the motor was shot, and ordered another motor, and the PTO shaft was different. And we tried finding a way how to do it, and we had some guys figure some stuff out. So I'll show you what we come up with. So here's a motor that came out here. It's a Kohler Triad 16 horse. And we see we were going to rebuild this motor, but you can't buy original parts for this motor no more. It was like they ran this Triad for a couple 2-3 years, and they must not have liked how it worked, so they quit making parts for it and stuff. But see how it has a spline shaft? Then they had this hydro pump attached to it, and there's a housing here with the spline shaft. So we took it up to Platt, where this really good manufacturing company figures stuff out. So they come up with this here. We're gonna put a Vanguard 18 horse in it. And the reason I chose this Vanguard, it's pretty much the same size as this Kohler. A regular Briggs will be a little bit bigger than this. So that's why we chose the Vanguard. Anyways, it has the inch shaft in here. So they put a coupler in there. It's kind of like a Lovejoy, but it's a little different brand. And this is a housing off of for an irrigation pump for irrigating the field. So what I gotta do now is bolt this pump up to that. Then all the wiring's shot on that sand trap cleaner. In fact, one of the hot wires, the charging wire, was hooked up to a ground on it. So we're gonna take all the wiring out of that sand trap cleaner. And we're gonna take the key switch out of here. And we're gonna make a wiring harness and piggyback this to the dash on the machine over there. But the only thing we have a little problem with is with this housing, it's going to be an inch longer. So over here on this, see them 4 bolt holes there? I'm going to have to get an exact measurement and drill them an inch on each side. But I got to be careful because there's that hydraulic fluid cooler right there. If worse comes to worse, I'll take them brackets off and move that to the right a little bit. But this little system right here, I gotta be perfect on that, because that's what runs the forward and backwards on that hydraulic pump to run the wheel motors for the back tires. So I'll film parts of this video getting this back in. I'm not going to film everything because a lot of it's going to be boring and a lot of thinking how to do this. But when we was taking it apart, this wire here went to the alternator on the motor and it's grounded out. So we're just gonna, the motor's gonna be sitting over. The motor's gonna be sitting over here, so we're just gonna run a wiring harness, unplug where the key switch is, and put a plug in there, and run the wiring harness back around to the key switch here. So probably make like a 3.5 foot harness, and plug it into the new. Take the key switch off that motor and put the whole key switch assembly in here. The only thing it ain't gonna have is lights, but I think all the lights are taken off this anyway. I don't even see no lights on this, so don't have to worry about the light switch. Take all the wiring out and put our new piggyback system in there, and hopefully get it out there because they want to clean it. They just opened up the golf course on the 15th of April. And right now it's like the 25th, so I kind of want to hurry up and get this done. I've had it here all winter long, but I just got the motor back a couple of weeks ago. So I'll film parts when I'm putting it on and stuff. Like I said, I'm not going to film everything because you probably get bored to death. So okay, I'm going to take this plate off. Because when I put this pump in, I got to have a way to tighten that Allen wrench. That Allen wrench deal. Well, yeah, that fits in there nice. I went and bought some new Allen wrench head bolts for this. But this is supposed to be the down spot in that pulley thing that I showed you over there. This runs on that. And that's how you go forwards and backwards. Okay, got the pump all bolted on. And I took this key switch thing out of the front of the motor. And I'm just going to make a piggyback wire harness about 3.5 foot long. And plug it into here. And just run the tape it up just like this here. Then put this in the dash and plug it right in. And everything will be hooked up. So all I have to do is hook the battery up to the solenoid. Hook the fuel line up. But before I even put this over there, I'm going to put oil in it now. And the reason I'm going to do that is if I get sidetracked or something when I get the motor in and totally forget about putting oil in there, then we're back to square one on this. These motors are way too expensive to do that. So I'm going to put the oil in right now before I even attempt to take it over to the machine. And I got to set it there and I got to see how far I got to drill the new motor holes. They said it's going to be like 1 inch longer, so I have to re-drill the holes. But right now I'm going to put oil in it. So when I get the motor put in the unit and start bolting it down, I'll start taping again. Like I said, this other stuff's going to be just boring. So. Okay, finally got the motor sitting in there. But I got to re-drill the motor mount holes. They're like, they said it was like 1 inch longer, but according to their old holes, it's like about 2.5 inches longer. In order to get this, that's forward reverse mechanism on the bottom of the hydro, I think I got that lined up pretty close, so I'm going to drill a couple of holes there, then a couple on the back, but I had to remove all the hydraulic mechanisms here. I'm going to have to mount it outside a little bit. I'll probably have to cut this out, so these levers, we'll have to move this whole hydraulic control block out about 2 inches. So right now I'm going to crawl underneath here, start drilling holes for the motor. So come back when I make some more progress. But yeah, it took forever to get that thing in there. I had to cut this bar off here. I had to put it back on, but that's where this will bolt onto. I had to cut a chunk out of the frame to get the oil filter off. And I found a muffler that will work for this thing here. But yeah, we're getting it. Okay, got the motor bolted in. It is 3 inches longer than the original. Got the positive cable hooked up to the solenoid. Then I had to move all the hydraulics over 3 inches. And that motor's right up to the frame. I can't go anymore. All you gotta do now is hook up all the hydraulics and put the throttle cable on and choke cable on and put the fuel tank back on and the fuel line. And hopefully we'll get this thing started soon. Okay, finally got her all done. Finally, just problem after problem. Put a new hydro filter on there, new hydro fluid, new battery. Gotta move the tank over like 3 inches because of that. Them hydro levers right here. But I think everything's okay. We're gonna go ahead and start it up now, see what happens. Well, everything seems to work on it. I guess it cleans out sand traps. That's about all I know. I've never ever seen one work. But I do a lot of modifying. I love modifying stuff, but they've been calling me like every other day. When's it gonna be done? When's it gonna be done? So I dropped everything, been working on it well all weekend and today. But hope you enjoyed the video. Appreciate you watching. If you like my videos, please press the like button and please subscribe. Anyway, guys, have a good afternoon.